Hi everybody, it's Sweet here, and I've had a pretty long day out today with a haircut, a job interview, but I thought I'd make a video. It's not my usual kind of video that you expect from me about games, because I've made videos like the one you're watching right now, but I've never gotten around to uploading them or editing them. So with that out of the way, let's get into the topic, and it's matte screen protectors. Now, if you've seen in public, there are people with phones that look like mine. This is my iPhone 14 Plus, and pardon the face grease and grime on it, but I just haven't had the time to clean this. But as you can see, there is an anti-reflective coating, and if I were to power on the screen and angle it at the light, let me have a look. Okay, just angle the light, and you can clearly see the time still legible on the screen. And this is what makes a matte screen protector special. And that's why they're also known as anti-glare screen protectors, because they reduce glare from light shining onto the screen. And this is the main selling point of them, because let's say you're out in the sun, it's really bright out, and you're trying to check your phone for whatever reason, time, trying to check the bus schedule, whatever. If you're under the sun and you have a tempered glass screen protector, the regular kind that's glossy, or no screen protector at all, you're kind of screwed. You have to like put your hand over it and try to cover it up and see, and maybe you'll get a glimpse, maybe. But with a matte screen protector, I can just turn it on again and it's legible, everything's legible. And this is what makes them so freaking good. And this is why that I've basically sworn by them since the first day that I discovered how good they were. In fact, this is my very first screen protector that was matte. I hated it at first, but again, the more I use it, I just grew to love it. And that's why every single one of my iPhones and even my iPad has a matte screen protector. These two are my main phones. I use them for work and play. And this is my iPhone 12 Pro Max that I use for work. As you can see, boom, another matte screen protector. Because again, it makes everything so easy to read when it's bright out. Now, the next selling factor is not just the glare, but the texture. If I slide my fingers all over them, it's just a sensation that a typical tempered glass screen protector cannot match. Because no matter how good the coatings are, the anti-fingerprint coatings are on those screen protectors, even if you get a really expensive one, they wear down with time. And this is inevitable. It will happen. It won't be an immediate thing. It will happen as time goes by. But however, for a matte screen protector, these effects basically with the anti-fingerprint and the what's it called, the texture, basically it's there forever because it's part of the screen. So no matter what happens, you always have this, because this screen protector on the left, the anti-fingerprint coating has worn off a long time ago, as this is over 2 years old, the screen protector on the left. Yet, it's still repelling my, well, as much as I can do, finger grease and face grease. But again, if I just rub it like this, they almost disappear. And this is what makes them so good. They're really easy to clean. And if I wanted to get a perfect clean, I could just easily, how do I say? I would just take an alcohol wipe or a wet wipe and just wipe the screen off. It's that simple. And the last thing that I should note, again, is going back to the texture, because when you do a lot of gaming and your fingers are sliding all about, it really, really makes a game changer if you use a matte screen protector. Because in one of the games I play, CSR2, when I need to launch my car, basically, I have to rev the accelerator, and the accelerator is on the right. So I tap, 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 and when the time comes to release, I'll just slide my finger down like this, and boom, I'm ready to shift the gear. So this is why I've just sworn by matte screen protectors ever since then. But another thing, the last thing that I will note about these screen protectors that make them so good is that almost nothing can scratch them. And I'm not joking. It might sound a bit gimmicky, like I'm making things up, like I'm exaggerating, but that's absolutely not the case. I'm being as truthful as I can over here with these screen protectors and how tough they can be. Unfortunately, this is also a downside because against almost everything out there I can think of, like a toothpick, anything that's not metal, that's the thing. If it's metal, it will leave a mark, likely, if the edge is sharp enough. Because this is just like the current iPad Pros and their nano textured screen, because there are these little mountains. That's what creates the matte effect. But if I were to show you right here, I'm not sure if I can capture it. Yeah, right down here you can see a little scratch, and this has been with me for about nearly half a year now, because this happened on a plane. I was taking a plane from Japan back. I subconsciously put my phone face down and the seatbelt rubbed against the screen and scratched it. Fortunately, this is not permanent, because if I could, it's not if I could, if I wanted to, I could remove it with the eraser technique, because you could use an eraser and rub it, and the friction causes the metal that's embedded in the screen right now to stick onto the eraser, and from there it gets removed. But just keep in mind, if you have fingerprint resistant coating still on the screen protector, if it's new, don't do the eraser trick, because to get the metal off you have to go through the coating, and when it's gone, it's really a pain to reapply. You can buy off-the-shelf products, but it's just not the same as a factory installed coating. And mine's gone, but I still won't do it. But it's still, I could do it, but I just don't feel like it. I just leave it, and it's actually lighter than it's ever been, because anytime my finger rubs it, a little bit of friction helps, and it'll come off with time, because I've had it to this 12 Pro Max previously on the last screen protector, but I just couldn't be bothered to remove it, so I just swapped in a new one. And one more downside I will bring up is that installing them is even more difficult, because if you struggle with a regular screen protector, because if you don't use those anti-dust frames and you do things the old-fashioned way, where you dab the screen with a sticker and you wipe it with alcohol and stuff, and then you align it, and you have to make sure it's not crooked and there's no dust underneath, this is going to be a real pain, because again, it's matte, and as such the viewing, the clarity goes down quite a bit, and when it goes down, dust is a bit harder to pick out on a clear screen protector. This one on the right, my iPhone 12 Pro Max, has a few particles stuck underneath, and while I would be a bit annoyed by it, they don't cause any bubbles, and they're very tiny, almost like the tip of a toothpick, the sharp end. So I've left them as is, because this one is rather straight too, so I don't want to basically spend another half an hour trying to put another screen protector when this one just works fine. And the main goal of this is to keep my screen safe. So that basically sums up why I use this. And again, it's a bit preference based, because matte screen protectors are not for everyone. For example, my mother, she prefers a HD screen protector because she doesn't game on her phone. That's point number one. Number two, she likes things sharp. So this is a thing to keep in mind. If you like watching maybe documentaries like me, and you just don't like the graininess, because when you use a matte screen protector, things can get a bit tongue-tied over there. Things can get a bit grainy, especially if you use one with the older matte screen protector, because this is an older version of a matte screen protector, and it's definitely more grainy. It's not very easy to make out on the camera, but the screen is noticeably a bit blurrier than the screen would be without this protector. And this one is using a newer matte screen protector, and as such you can see that, I don't know if you can see, but in person it's absolutely easy to pick up the differences. But let me see, this is the new one on the 12 Pro Max, and this is the old one on my 14 Plus. I can assure you that this one is way more grainier, but don't worry, because these old ones are almost never sold anymore, because almost everybody who makes matte screen protectors is typically making the screen protectors with the new matte coating. And it's not only nicer to touch, it's less grainy, and it doesn't distort the vision as much, and it's still as nice to use as matte screen protectors are. When it comes to buying these, I have a bit of a dilemma over here because, well, I would say perhaps go to online shopping and get one because lots of these screen protectors can be purchased online. These were bought wholesale, so there's no specific brand for these. If anything, I would advise that perhaps go to a site like AliExpress. I'm not pulling a leg, but that's actually the best place to get screen protectors because, sure, I've seen in those phone shops and they do sell these screen protectors, but they're so damn expensive and I could never bring myself to purchase one because if I were to go to a shop and look for something like this, it could cost maybe even 10 bucks is a lot. And if I go to get a higher and more expensive brand, it could even cost 30. And I just went on a company that I saw as I had dinner just now, and that cost 40 bucks. And that's US dollars. And mind you, I'm in Singapore, so $40 for a piece of glass. And so give that a thought. I know there are people that might say, yeah, it's reasonable. But for me, it's just, I could never bring myself to spend more than $5 on a piece of glass. In fact, these two cost me about $2.50 each, Singapore dollars. So if you convert that to US dollars or wherever you are, you can see it's actually quite cheap. And the thing is, it's a bit iffy because a lot of these online, what's the word here? The retailers, online retailers, I would say, they tend to put the photos in the listing with this kind, as you can see, with my iPhone's Face ID sensors all covered up. And unfortunately, not every seller is this honest. It's a bit unfortunate, but that's how it is. Because again, my iPhone 14 Pro Max may have an older 14 Pro Max, my 14 Plus, because this is the budget one, as you can see. Okay, it does also cover the Face ID module, and I was just glad that this is the one because I have seen reviews online where, yes, the photo looks like this. I will use my 12 Pro Max again. Okay, it covers the Face ID module, but when I've seen in the review photos, there are holes for the front-facing camera and this scanner over here. So I have no problem with that, but for one, I just cannot stand these holes because they're exposed to camera and the sensors, and they might scratch. I'm not saying they will scratch, but they might, because it may be glass, but it's not scratch resistant. I mean, how I say, it's scratch resistant. Not everything's gonna scratch it, but it will get scratched if it's not treated right, and I don't like that happening. I'd rather just have it covered for maximum protection. So it might take a bit of trial and error, honestly, but if you can just dedicate maybe 20 bucks and you just get a few protectors from different online sellers, you will find one eventually that's looking like mine. Because sure, and there's one more thing I should bring up for those with holes on the Face ID module, and if you have the 14 Pro or newer, they do leave holes for that pill on the screen, so dust can get in there, and it's really frustrating and annoying to clean those up. And if you've gotten dust on, let's say, the side of the screen protector, because this is the one that I haven't cleaned in a long time, dust does get it in between here. It will get caught because there's always how to say, it's like a sandwich. As you can see, there's glass and there's a screen at the bottom, and then in the middle is a piece of adhesive. The sides of the adhesive are not exactly sticky, but still a little sticky, but because of that, they will trap dust. And it's, if you have seen how gross an iPhone gets with the dust gathering along the sides, wait till you use those screen protectors with holes up here. They will just collect, and even if you wipe it out with alcohol or a wet wipe, the edges where the adhesive is exposed will still have dust caught into it. So that basically wraps up what I have to say about these screen protectors. Again, I swear by them. I have not used a glossy screen protector ever since I've switched to matte with this fella, and I will stay a matte screen protector person, well, as long as I love it, because again, yes, it does suck a bit because I do watch a lot of documentaries, and it's a bit disappointing that my iPhone's high definition screen isn't as sharp and pretty as it can be. But when it comes to usage under the sun, or even just sliding my finger on it, it's just a satisfaction that I cannot get anywhere else. It's just so enjoyable to even just rub my fingers like this. And I'm not joking, I could do this all day. And this brings me to my last topic that I need to bring up, and that's the new iPad Pros. Because if you haven't seen the new iPad Pros, you have an option for a standard screen or one with a matte, well, they call it a nano textured screen. And if you're on the fence, just get the regular screen, because if you want a matte finish, just get a screen protector and paste it on top. Yes, I know pasting a screen protector on an iPad is probably the hardest thing known to man. I mean, I'd rather, I'm not joking, I'd rather just solve a complex code, I'd rather write code than put a screen protector on an iPad. It's just that, it's just how it is, because the iPad screen is just huge, and mine that I'm recording this on does have a matte screen protector. And one thing I will bring up also, besides the difficulty, is if you use an Apple Pencil, a matte screen protector, it's a must. You will love it, trust me. And even if you're not using Apple Pencil, if you game on it like I brought up earlier, get it. But again, if you don't game and you don't take your iPad out in public, maybe it's not for you. Maybe you're still better off with a regular screen protector. And this is why, again, I don't recommend people who buy the new iPad Pro go and get one of those nano texture displays, because once you get a nano texture display, you're basically stuck with it. But if you get the regular one and you put a matte screen protector on top, you can basically have both, the best of both worlds. If you don't like the matte, just take it off and you have the regular screen back. So with the nano texture, you're just kind of screwed. You're stuck with a matte screen, like it or not. And again, if it's something metal like a coin, or in my case, a seat belt, the clip scratches against the screen, it's there forever. You can rub it off, but the coating is going to come with it, the anti-fingerprint coating. So again, this wraps up everything I have to say about matte screen protectors, and I do hope I have helped out someone in making their decision, because it's a bit how do I say, hard to find someone who actually talks about matte screen protectors, because I do see people say yes, it can be visible under bright light, or it's really nice to touch, but the downsides, like installing them and the difficulty, because it's more likely that you'll miss some dust, and the fact you cannot keep it near metal or it will scratch, because I have had this thing scratch even more, and I cannot think of anything that might scratch it besides maybe my MagSafe puck or my lightning charger, because I sleep with these on my bed and I put my phones next to me. So perhaps they scratch it, but I've just learned to just put my phones far, far away and face up. Never face them down on my bed. So that wraps it up. I do hope I have helped someone make a decision when it comes to getting a matte screen protector or not. And if you like this video, leave a like. If you like, subscribe, and I might post more of these in the future. And I'm looking at talking about my favorite case, the Mouse Limitless, in the next video, whenever that might be. But for now, I'm so sorry that I've been rambling for so long, but I just wanted to help someone make the right decision, and I just hope I did. And with that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.